So he'll have to sneak an observer into that particular area if he wants to see that the Terran is going Stargate tech, because there's a observer down here, but it's not going to be able to see that starport. So this could lead to an interesting surprise if he plans on building anything other than science vessels there. So kind of a unique build there. And looks like Protoss is coming early with his Dragoon rush. Well, finally, not early, I guess, with his Dragoons and Zealot bomb there to try and take out some of this front door. And with those mines there, he's going to probably take out quite a few of those Dragoons and Zealots with just the mines. But it looks like he'll have enough tanks here to neutralize this threat. Although those Zealots have been really effective versus the couple tanks, but here's coming in a Vulture here to throw down some extra mines, and those mines are just devastating if you don't have an observer handy. And it looks like Protoss didn't have an observer nearby, and he lost. I think he lost well more forces than the Terran player did. I think the Terran lost a couple tanks, and I don't know if this was. I can't remember if this was a turret or what this was here. So in the meantime, we've got more Dragoons from Bisu hanging out in the middle. We've got some more gateways cranking out. So now it's going to be 6 gateways, looks like. And he's warping in his Citadel here. So he's going to be, getting the speed lots and probably getting some temps here pretty quickly. And pretty slow game in the early game so far. I mean, we're 11 minutes in, and that's the first sort of attack we've seen, and it wasn't really game-changing by any means. So both sides continuing to build out, and it looks like Fantasy's got that starport and he's got that early science facility. So I don't know if we're expecting to see anything fancy there, just science vessels. It's interesting that he hasn't built the expansion onto his starport yet. He does have a lot of factories here, so it looks like he's going to have 8 factories, and those are all going to be cranking. So I guess the starport is just going to be for psi vessels shortly. Although it's kind of weird that he built it up on that hill, I think. Alright, so back sort of toward Bisu's base here. We've got Terran setting out some mines, kind of get a lay of the land, but Bisu's already scoped those out with his observer. He's got right overhead, so he's going to be able to take those out when he sends his units across. Fortunately, he's got a lot of Zealots now and very few Dragoons, although the Dragoons, it looks like he's actually sent down toward the lower right-hand corner where he's throwing up another Nexus. So that will be interesting to see if Terran catches that or not. In the meantime, back at the Protoss main entrance, I guess, he's kind of having a battle with all of these Vultures versus his Zealots, and his Zealots look like they're holding their own pretty well, considering he hasn't lost too many to mines, it looks like, and he is bringing back those Dragoons to help defend against that. So he's going to clear out some of these spider mines and such in this middle ramp area. And in the meantime, Terran retreats to his base. So Terran now cranking out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What? I don't even know. What is that? Like 9 factories? Yeah, 9 factories, and he's got dual armories for his ground upgrades. He's finally got his control tower on his starport, so he's going to be able to create the science vessels now to grab some of those observers and such. But both sides harvesting quite significantly, and it looks like Terran may be making a pass at that bottom expansion of Protoss. I'm not sure if he sees it with that engineering bay that he's floated or not, but Protoss has pyloned himself in, and it looks like Terran did try to go for one of those pylons, but wasn't able to get through in time for the Dragoons to show up for reinforcement. And Terran's also set up a lot of mines along the bottom here, so it looks like he might make an attack on the second natural of Protoss here, and then rely on some of those mines to take out some of the reinforcements that Protoss sends. So that should be an interesting battle when that happens. However, Protoss now cranking out of 6 gates, and it looks like he's got his own special blend going on down here. 3 Stargate carriers. So this is going to be an interesting battle here. Terran doesn't have anything to answer this. I haven't seen one Goliath. Oh, I've seen a few Goliaths now, I guess. He just started pumping Goliaths, about 5 or so Goliaths, but I think the Protoss is going to have a superior ground force here. Well, with those tanks in the back, I think actually Protoss isn't going to want to push into that while it's stationary. So Protoss is going to retreat from this battle for now. And let's see if Terran unsieges some of these tanks. Yep, it looks like he's going to unsiege and start leapfrogging his way into the base of Protoss here. And I guess if he's able to get all those tanks sieged, Protoss might have a little bit of trouble here unless he wants to bring those carriers over, which he does. So he brings in 5 carriers, and he's going to make quick work of the few Goliaths that Terran brought over. And if he mixes in his ground force with this, he's going to be able to tear all these units up. But Terran is making the retreat, so he's not going to lose too many of his units. But remember that he hasn't touched any of the units of Protoss while these carriers are easily picking off each of these ground units that have no anti-air. So going to pick off a couple Goliaths, but I'm guessing Terran's going to switch to all Goliaths now. So he's going to have 9 Goliaths at a time if he keeps all these factories busy. So there's definitely going to be some resistance for these carriers shortly here. But Protoss is moving in his ground force behind these carriers, so it's going to be, I don't know, sort of a micro-macro war here, where the ground units of Protoss in the back are just sort of macroed, and then the carriers versus Goliaths is going to be more of a micro war. But it looks like he's pulling his carriers back a little bit further to hang out with his ground units. And he's going to go work on that second natural of Terran up in the upper right-hand corner there. Again, just his carriers just kind of hanging back, I think, waiting for some ground units to come up that ramp to help defend. But those ground units aren't coming right now. It looks like Fantasy's going to go ahead and let this base go. In the meantime, Fantasy did get some vultures down to the bottom right-hand corner to take out this random expansion from Protoss. So that's probably going to go down by vultures as well. I don't think Protoss is going to get any units over there to defend that in time, and he doesn't, and the Nexus does go down. So a lot of Goliaths coming in here to try and help defend that second natural of Terran, but it's just not going to be enough. The natural's already gone down, and between the carriers and the Dragoons on the ground, all of these Goliaths are going to go down. Although the tanks down on the ground did support those Goliaths really well, and were able to help take out some of those tanks. So we're going to see whether or not Protoss is going to have enough left at his base to defend against the Terran push now. It looks like, considering Protoss has taken out that second Terran natural, I don't think Terran's going to have enough economy with his main completely mined out. It looks like Terran's just about finished here, because Protoss still has his two secondary, or his 2 expansion bases back at his area, and he's bringing in another carrier, and Terran's not going to be able to produce from all of those factories at this point. So unless he can do something amazing with these Goliaths here, it looks like Protoss is just going to combine his ground and air forces and be able to take out all of the Goliaths and a couple tanks that are left over from Terran. So here we go. This looks like this is going to be the last battle. It's looking bad for Terran. He doesn't have the income to support all of his unit producing buildings, and if Protoss can push through these Goliaths here, it's going to be good game in just a second. Terran is trying to throw up another command center up there, but I think at this point it's well too late. So the Dragoons continue to press in here. There's about 7 Goliaths left, and it looks like it's going to be good game here, with Bisu managing to overcome Fantasy with his crazy carriers, which he kind of snuck in here at his base. So I'll expect to see a GG here in a second as Bisu takes out the natural expansion of Fantasy here. Fantasy still building that command center up right above there, but I mean, I'm pretty sure Protoss already saw that, so that's probably not going to make too much of a difference. Protoss is going to continue to send in reinforcements, so he's cranking Zealots and Dragoons out of most of his gateways back at his base, but at this point all he has to do is sort of micro those carriers. And we did get the GG by Fantasy, so kind of pretty cool replay there. It was interesting to see both sides build up quite a bit before there was really any skirmishes or any battles. Starport from Terran that never actually produced a single unit, I don't think. So maybe that could have helped turn things with some EMP or something like that. But thanks, guys, for listening all the way through this replay. If you did, feel free to leave comments with constructive criticism or whatever you think needs to be changed or areas I could work on. And thanks for listening.